Hi everybody, this is Beth McCullough from West Des Moines, Iowa. I'm a Stampin' Up! Demonstrator and I'm here every Tuesday night live with my sweet husband Steve.
Hi everybody.
We are so glad you're here and we're home. Can you believe it? We're back. We're back where we belong, aren't we, Steve?
Yes, this is home.
So tell us where your home is. Tell us where you're watching from. And tell me the last card you made. What is your favorite last card you made? If you're new to our channel, would you please say hi? A lot of people come every Tuesday night and we've gotten to know people and it has been super fun.
Oh, it's a blessing.
Yes. And I see Patty's on and Janice and Chris. Janice, I said Janice. We are getting ready for Stamp Camp this weekend and I sold another stamp camp while I was on vacation, so I'm cutting 2 more stamp camps. So I have 1 set left if anyone wants to join us this weekend. It's the Notes of Nature Stamp Camp.
So I'm going to say hi to Patty, and I'm going to say hi to Holly and Shirley.
And Orly.
Yes.
And Jeanette. Thank you all so much for coming.
Maria is on too.
Hello, Maria. Okay, so here's the card we're making tonight, except you see the problem? Sometimes I rip cards apart when I have a need for something else or I want to change something. And I did rip this guy's head off.
What?
Because...
What did he do to you?
I wanted to make him a wobble. So we have these wobbles. I put the link. This card is on my blog yesterday. Today is February 6th, 2024. On February 5th, this card is on there. It's actually my voting card, actually with the cow's head attached. Would this be a headless cow? Well, there's a headless horseman. Yeah. I guess there's not a headless horse, is there?
I've never heard of a headless cow before, other than maybe at the butcher shop. It's gonna
have a head, but it's gonna wobble.
Okay.
But I put the link to these wobbles. It's like a spring in between, and then when you push it, it goes up and down. It's like an interactive fun card. Yay, Bridget's here, and Jean, and Jan, and Holly.
You beat me
like
to
the
it.
gang, the gang is back in town.
Right, and here is the thing, folks. I want to apologize for our audio difficulties from the Cayman Islands. You know, we were a long way away, and we had Caribbean internet, and you just never know what's going to happen. I'm just glad we had power.
Yeah. 2 days in a row, and in fact, the day of one of the videos, we had no power for like an hour. It got really warm in the house.
Yes.
But that is not... You know, there's bigger problems in the world.
There are. Whether we can get our video and audio and to work from the Caribbean.
But tell them about this. Our son picked us up at the airport last night.
Yes. I'm going to tell them all about it as you're coloring.
As I'm coloring.
Because you have lots of coloring to do.
Okay. Well, this card, you might wonder where I got the slope and the plants, and I'm going to show you all that. I'm going to show you what I used to make the card, and then I'm going to color some more things. So at 5 o'clock, when I started getting ready for the video, I realized the Cutest Cows set was not at my house. So I have lots of team members who live in the Des Moines area. And before I went to Cayman, I was gone 4 weeks. Anyone who wanted anything came and got the sets. And Cutest Cows was living over at Barb's house tonight. So my sweet husband drove over and picked up the Cutest Cows.
It's the life of an assistant demonstrator.
You know, but look at the do you wear a tie now to be an assistant demonstrator?
I want to impress our viewers, Beth.
Or maybe you had a meeting downtown today?
Maybe, that too.
Okay.
Look at that. Jude says the cow looks like a real Iowa card.
It does look like an Iowa card. And you know, some of you know if you've watched long enough, I showed steers when I was in 4-H. My favorites were Mork and Mindy. Yes. And, you know, I should have made this card look like Mork and Mindy. Come to think of it.
You just dated yourself, right?
I know. So it was in the early 80s, maybe the late 70s. But Mork was red and white spotted, so I could make him like these cows. And Mindy actually was a steer, but you
Poor steer.
There was gender confusion even back then, not on purpose, but Mindy was a pure black steer, and Mork was red and white, because Mork, that just seemed more red and white spotted. But anyway, here's what I used. I used the Cutest Cow bundle, so the stamp set and the punch. I also did some fussy cutting. The background to this card is the painted texture. This is in the annual catalog. It's hard to see that. The Delicate Forest, that is where I got the 2 dies to do the slope and the leaves. Came out of the Delicate Forest. And I did that in both Mossy Meadow and Old Olive. And the hot air balloon is what I used for the clouds. So, like I said, I wasn't quite finished. So I'm going to color some cows real quick. And Steve, if you hang on, I promise we'll get it all done. Oh, do Prize Patrol, Steve?
Yes. Everyone should be doing hashtag Prize Patrol in the comments.
And tell them
It's a
about that. Is
thing.
there anybody new who doesn't know about that?
I haven't seen any, but that doesn't mean people aren't watching. So I'm going to put the banner out.
Okay, actually tell them how we can see their name too then, in case they don't know.
So yeah, I've got lots of things here. I've got to keep them all straight.
Do all the things, honey.
So you've got to give StreamYard permission so that we can see your name as you're commenting. And it's a really easy thing to do. You just go StreamYard.com/Facebook and grant your permission. They don't spam you or anything. It's just so that we can see your name as you're commenting. So that is that. And then of course, Prize Patrol is entering hashtag Prize Patrol, all one word, all lowercase, into the comments. And then you go in for the drawing at the end of the video to win one of the cards.
And which card do you think they'll win, honey? The one with the head or the one without?
Well, I don't know. I think...
Hopefully when we get done here, all the cows will have a head.
So we had a question about Ryan, our son, and Glenn, Grandpa Olson. Yes, they made it back from Antarctica, and they had the trip of a lifetime, and they are both still glowing and telling stories and putting together presentations from everything they learned in Antarctica.
Isn't that sweet? Ryan is helping my dad so he can give presentations. And Steve's telling me to keep coloring.
Color and talk at the same time.
I can do one thing at a time. But anyway, my dad will be 85 on February 25th. And it just was amazing. Tell them about the submarine.
So one of the things they got to do is they got to go into a submersible. It was
But
on the ship.
They weren't supposed to get to go.
They weren't supposed to get to go, but you had to climb down the ladder through the hatch to get into the thing. And some of the people that had signed up just weren't in the physical condition to be able to do it. And so they were on the wait list, and they saw, while they took the test, and they both passed with flying colors. But they did see some people not passing the test. So they were thinking, hey, maybe we're going to get to go on this thing. And sure enough, toward the end of the cruise, their name came up and they got to go on the submarine.
And what did he say? Were there six or eight people on the submarine?
There were 8 people in seats on the submarine. They saw millions of krill all surrounding the submarine. And they saw one fish. But yeah, it was pretty spectacular.
We went under the ocean and saw one fish. That's kind of funny.
Yes.
Hey, do you see on this cow, there's a stripe down his forehead? Well, there's no stripe on the stamp. So do you want to know how you make the stripe? You can just draw in these spots. You can make it whatever you want it to be. So I just kind of drew a wedge in here and had the stripe go up to his nose. Carry on, Steve. Sorry that I interrupted.
Okay, so last night we got home at about 10 o'clock, and our wonderful son Ryan, who took his grandpa to Antarctica, came to pick us up at the airport. But not just that, he built a computer for his mom for Christmas. And he had completed the computer, so he brought us home, helped us get all the luggage in, and then he helped set up the computer. So that's the computer we're using tonight. And the idea is that this is like the ultra high-powered
Yes,
computer.
you're supposed to be able to see us and hear us.
And we can see everything.
Is it better? Is it better than
Hopefully,
it was?
there's no glitching, and you can hear the audio. As bad as our last broadcast was from the Caribbean, this should be oh so much better.
Yes, we're going to try. Last time no one could hear us, so we're going from the worst video to the best, hopefully.
But
okay, look at this. The cow, Bessie, she's getting her head back, okay?
people are going to be so relieved.
Yes, so this one is not going to have wobbles. But here's the card, and it has the cute sunflowers inside. So I am ready to get started. Are you ready? I would love to have a cow with a head, please. Jean, you are so picky that you want a cow with a head.
I think that's kind of the point. Is,
yes.
Especially
okay.
since the head is so cute.
I don't blame you, Jean. I want my cows with heads as well. Okay, let's get started. Daffodil Delight. Do you have a screen for me, Steve?
Oh, now you're putting me to work.
So we are doing this 6 1/4 across, 6 1/2 down, score at 3 1/4. This is what I call the mini Slimline cards. And for this, you would have to either make your own envelope or the number 10 envelope, which is a business size envelope in the US, fits the bigger Slimline that I make, but you could put it in there if you don't want to make your own envelope. Okay, so we scored that. Then let's do inside the card first. So we're going to do the sunflowers from the Cutest Cow set. And we are going to stamp those. And when I use blends, I use Memento black ink. We'll see if this, I'm going to stamp it over here. Do you stamp once first? I don't trust myself that I got it all inked up the first time. So I like to do that. So I'm going to put this over in the corner. And if you pick the card with wobbles, it will be colored in. But since I took the time to color the cows already, I'm not going to color the flowers until later. But I'll tell you what I used. It's yellow around the outside of the flower. You could do the inside too. And then it's mossy meadow on the leaves. So the
what if you
Stampin'
did the
blends
inside
are in.
in red?
What do you guys think?
Or no, wait. Close it again. The little chicks have what?
They have Poppy Parade on. These are Poppy Parade and Daffodil Delight.
Oh, you put the Poppy Parade on the inside of the flower.
So most sunflowers are like brown and yellow. Tell us in the comments. I will color it if they want me to color it that color.
Here's the thing. I just got done doing 6 different scuba dives. And I have to tell you.
Are you saying you're nitrogen deprived? Wait, can we go to the white?
No, I would be
Oh,
I would be nitrogen saturated. That would be the problem.
Okay.
But I'm not. I've off-gassed. I'm fine. I got all my off-gassing done before I flew.
He was dehydrated though. So we're going through customs and immigration. Was it immigration? What else? And Steve's like, he doesn't ever tell me if something's wrong. Does your husband do that? He like pretends everything's okay. And finally he's like grabbing my hand and I'm thinking, oh, he wants to hold my hand, which he does do. But he's like, no, honey, I can't see. There's blurry lines all over. And I'm like, oh my gosh, what's going on? He's like, I have no idea. So later we got to a place to sit down and eat, and I started giving him water. We watered Steve. And it's amazing. An hour later, all the eye problems went. Who knew? If you scuba dive 2 days in a row and then you fly for 14 hours and you don't drink any water, you get dehydrated.
Yeah.
So.
But here's the thing. My point was the fish on these reefs were just spectacular. And, every time I thought, I think I've probably seen about everything I'm going to see. No, I would see another fish. Different colors and just brilliant. I mean, God's creation is just amazing. And he's showing off down there, right? All these fish that are so many different colors. I'm just saying that because I've seen fish so many different colors, flowers can be all kinds of different colors too. I'm sure there's one that's got yellow petals and a red inside somewhere.
Can you show the balmy blue? The front, I ran this through Painted Texture, and it's 3 inches by 6 inches balmy blue. And it just makes a really nice background for this. And then why don't we go back to the comments and see if anyone wants me to color the inside red. Pop of red would be fun.
Yes, people backing me up here.
Janice is happy with the audio visual or video. Thank you, Janice.
So yeah, some reddish in the center. That'd
Okay,
be good.
okay.
So Janice, Maria, and Jean all backed me up. Thank you so much.
Okay.
I appreciate that.
So I am going to show you how to do the slope. Again, this comes from the Delicate Forest. This is in the mini catalog. And I took Mossy Meadow. I have a slide for this. It's 3 inches by 6 inches. And I have it all set here. I put it on the edge, and I have it so the plant is can all get cut out. So that's as accurate as I made it, okay? And I'm running it through the mini Stampin' Cut and Emboss machine. Now, I don't think I've ever done this on screen before because I never used my mini very much. I used my big one. But down in Cayman, all I had was the mini. So
She fell in love with it.
yes, the mini is awesome. If you don't have one, at least get the mini. Okay, so when we pull this out, look at that. So here's the plants, here's the slope, and then I'm gonna take the other slope and I'm gonna start this also at the edge. And then it can go a little higher. I'm just going to use my snips and cut it off. I just don't want to make it go lower. I don't want to cut into that nice slope that I had. Tell me if this makes sense or if you have questions. So
I'm completely lost, but you know, I trust. I've seen you do enough things that I assume that you know exactly what you're doing.
yeah, the reason I put the other one on before is lining it up under the camera is harder. Okay, so here we go.
So the other thing that we did while we're in Cayman Brac is sunsets and sunrises. So I got up every morning to watch the sunrise because it was so spectacular. It truly amazing. And I did my Bible study on our porch, and while I was watching the sunrise. And it was very moving because it was so beautiful. Every morning it seemed like there was a cloud bank just across the ocean where the sun was going to come up on the horizon. And that made that sunrise spectacular.
It was amazing. Are you implying that I was in bed while you were watching the sunrise?
No, you came out at the most opportune time.
In the nick of time. Let me show you this. So we did one on one side, one on the other. And the only part I have to clip is that little snip right here. So isn't that fun, you guys? Have you worked with this one? I would highly recommend it. So now we have the Mossy Meadow like this. Now you're going to take a 3x6 Old Olive and do the exact same thing. And I know you don't need to watch it twice. So here it is. I'll move this out of the way. And I'm going to put the Old Olive on top, and I'm going to glue these together, and some of the Old Olive is going to show, and I'm going to offset the leaves. So I don't know if you saw it on this card, but we have the 2 sets of leaves, and you can have it really close, or you can do it a little different. I'm going to let a little of the slope, see that? I like it like that. Okay. So this one is a little bit thinner, so I'm going to put the glue on here. Does that make sense? Yeah, I'm going to put it on the bottom of this. And then I'm going to take this piece and line it up the way I want it to be. And I'm going to let this Old Olive show there. The only place I don't want it to show is on this end. I'm going to snip off this little tiny bit. And that's it. And I think it's a super fun slope. And it's not just for cow cards. You could make any kind of card that you want this pretty slope. See how it is on the back side? What are you saying here, honey?
I'm imagining the cows turning around and eating the foliage that you were so careful to create.
My cows are very polite, and they would not eat the foliage. Actually, have I ever told the story of the cow?
Which cow?
The cow that got bloated on the grass.
No, I'm not sure that it's a good story to tell everybody.
Maybe you guys don't want to hear this.
Well, your friends from agricultural states would appreciate it.
Do you want to hear my cow story? I like how the colors show through. That is fun, isn't it? You let me know if you want to hear the cow story. It's a little gross.
Graphic.
Graphic, yes. Okay, so I am putting that right on there. Now the clouds on here, these are from the hot air balloon. And,
Far enough.
sorry, the hot air balloon. And this little thank you in the corner that the rooster is standing on. By the way, there were a lot of roosters in Cayman. It's heat embossed in white, and the thank you is it in this set? It is. I thought it was. This card got made a long time ago. This thank you right here is that. And I'm not going to put it on this card because I don't have it embossed yet. But I'm going to go ahead and put clouds on here. So how is your transition between scuba diver and...
Sheena was raised on a cattle farm. She knows exactly what you're going to say.
Patty wants to hear the story if the cow survives.
The cow survived.
Okay.
And actually thank them for this, which...
Okay, so sometimes, I don't know the exact reason, but sometimes in the summer when the grass is really green and this cow was super hungry and for some reason it bloated. So it ate enough grass and its stomach blew up, like worse than being pregnant. So it is...
I mean, it didn't blow up. It
didn't
expanded.
blow up. It expanded. So the cow is laying in our field with this great big bloated stomach. So my mom frantically calls my dad at work. Yeah, he was a John Deere engineer. Come home. There's something wrong with this cow or steer. So he comes home, and I don't know. We didn't have Google back then, but he was a farm boy raised on a farm. So it must have happened to their steers. But he had to feel around. And he took a great big knife, like from the kitchen, and he stabbed the cow. And it was like gas from the green grass. All the gas came out. The cow like stood up. The cut healed. Everything was fine. But I was like 10 years old. And I was horrified that my dad...
What are you going to do to our cow?
He stabbed the cow. But he saved her. And she lived... Well,
happily ever after until she
lived happily ever after until we ate her. But so I guess she did. I'm sorry. I guess she didn't. Wait, stop. I guess ultimately she didn't survive.
This is the best video ever. This is going to the greatest hits reel.
I'm sorry. I didn't think forward to the fact that our cattle, our steers were raised as meat cattle, so I'm sorry. Steve was always freaked out by that.
Well, yeah, the first time, I think we told this story, the first time I came over for dinner at their house and they started naming the cow to try and guess which cow they were eating, it really kind of freaked me out.
Yeah, Steve does not eat his animals. Which is a good thing, right? Okay. So we got the 3 clouds. I did 1 big and the 2 little clouds. Oh, Bridget, thanks. I'm glad you think it's adorable. Karen, you saw your grandfather do the same thing to his cow, but it saved its life. Our cow was saved also. It was much later when it grew up, like a year later when he became a meat cow. But he did survive also. So I'm going to put the little rooster down here. I was surprised how many chickens and roosters ran all over that island.
Yeah, so we went on the parrot walk, which is a trail through the jungle where you can see the endangered Caribbean parrots. They're green parrots. And we have been fortunate because we've seen them every time we've gone, but we had advice on how to find them, and that is you listen for them because they make a heck of a racket. They squawk really loud, and you can hear them. Once you hear them, then you kind of echolocate where they are, and then you can see them and take pictures of them and stuff. So I was telling Beth, yeah, we'll have to listen to them, and if we shoot a video, we'll have to make sure to let everybody hear what they sound like. So we started shooting the video, and the first thing is roosters started crowing because, and I didn't know this, but I mean the wild roosters running around on Cayman Brack, they crow all day long. It's not like just in the morning. You think it's at dawn when they're supposed to crow. No, they crow all the time. And so after that got done, then we were trying to introduce what we're doing, and all of a sudden there's all this loud squawking, right? And I was talking about, we got to go on this trail, and we're going to have to be really quiet to see if we can find them. We'll have to sneak up on them.
Well, I have to listen to the video, but wasn't I like, honey, I think there's a parrot right
there's
there.
a parrot over there in that
by the
tree. So we don't really have to go on the parrot walk. We can just turn around and film the parrot in the tree. So, yeah, that was exceptional luck on the parrot walk that day. But, yeah.
But then when we got into the parrot walk, it was afternoon, and it was not a good time to parrot walk. You know why? It was harder. We found 2 parrots on the parrot walk, but it was hard. We couldn't get them on camera, but we got to see them and hear them, but they were kind of hidden. And then the other thing was, do mosquitoes like any of you? I have sweet blood. Okay, my cow just went someplace.
He's headless again.
No, this one, the whole body. I was just putting dimensionals on it, and I looked up to chat with you.
Is it on your hand? On your sleeve?
No. Darn it.
Time for the assistant demonstrator.
Here's the other head. I have both the heads. Literally, I was just putting dimensionals. Oh, here it is. I put the dimensionals on top of the cow. I thought the cow was loose. Okay. We're being too silly. I think we're sleep deprived. Ryan was showing us everything about the computer, and at midnight we're like, this is amazing. We love you so much. Please go home. Please go home. We are tired.
Okay, so Jean said mosquitoes love her blood. Nasty little buggers. They love Beth, too. Now, I actually did research on this. I was trying to figure out why. And so then I was reading why DEET works. DEET masks carbon dioxide. So it ends up the mosquitoes are attracted to the off-gassing of carbon dioxide. So just like you exhale carbon dioxide also comes out your pores, right? And some people have that happen more than others. And the people that have that happen more than others are the ones the mosquitoes really, really seem to like. So I have no idea what you do about that other than, try and wear something as a mosquito repellent. I was telling Beth, maybe if you exhale more, really blow out and try and get all your carbon dioxide out, maybe that'll help. But then I was worried she would pass out if she really tried to do that. But anyway.
I'm like, I don't know. I just breathe how I breathe. Okay, so on these wobbles, you can buy these on Amazon. I took the little paper film off one side, and I'm going to stick it on the back of the cow's head. And then I'm going to use, it's cut in the middle. So you can take one side off at a time.
So I think Tony actually has you beat for the maximum number of mosquito bites.
How many did you have, Tony?
As a kid, she came home from camp with 125.
Mine were close. I think it's interesting how many, because Tony, we would go to Canada with my grandparents, and I counted every mosquito bite. And I was thinking 108 was what I had. But when we went to Cayman the second time, it was in 2019, wasn't it, Steve?
Mm-hmm. And I had found this amazing house with a massive saltwater pool, and it had all this lush vegetation all the way around the pool, right? And but we'd be standing on the pool deck and just get bit You know, it was.
Wait, did you get bit?
I did. I got bit too, and it hurt. And I'm like, what the heck? So I immediately jumped in the pool, right? Got to get rid of whatever's biting me. But yeah, we had no-see-ums or sand fleas that came out of the bushes around this pool and just started devouring us, especially Beth. And I was very, very concerned that I was never going to get her to return to this island.
Yeah, it was after 2019. I said, I love it there. It's beautiful, but I'm not sure I can go back. And Steve switched us to the windy side of the island, and that made a huge difference.
Yeah.
Because the mosquitoes, you know, they can't come in the wind as much.
So it's wavier, right? And which makes the ocean beautiful. It makes it harder to go out there and snorkel, but I mean, there's lots of places around the island you can go snorkel, so you don't have to snorkel right off your house. But yeah, that the wind really, really helped tamp down on the bugs. So that was a lucky find. So we've been going back to the south side all the time now.
I don't know. I think these wobbles, their heads are sticking up too far.
I was going to ask, how would you mail that?
Well, it goes down and then it pops up.
So it's like a slinky.
Yeah, it's like a slinky. But you know something? I'm going to say it's a, I don't know. Maybe I should ask you guys what you think. Is that a fail to have the cows had that? I mean, it would be flat in the envelope and then it would pop up. But is it popping up too far? You can tell I didn't practice with, I've done wobbles before, but I did not practice with my wobbles on this one.
So Kathy said try vitamin B for mosquitoes. That's a new one. I think we should do that. Vitamin B is good for you anyway. So I think that sounds like a great idea.
Here I go.
Janice loves the baubles.
You love the baubles. I just tore them up.
You should have waited.
Okay.
You asked your viewers. I mean, you got to give them a chance to
Friends.
respond.
I was afraid they were coming up too high. I'll put them back on. We'll see if they stay. If you pick the wobble card, I will supply you with new wobbles. Look, they're putting their heads together.
Yeah, they like each other.
So let's go back to how cool the foliage was from the delicate forest. That was awesome, right? Okay. So here is the card with just Stampin' Dimensionals. And here is the card with the wobbles. What do you think?
I kind of like the wobbles, honestly.
Okay, is everybody signed up for...
Yes, now is your last chance for Prize Patrol.
Stamp Camp. What am I talking about? Are you all signed up for Prize Patrol?
We didn't talk about Stamp Camp or anything.
Well, Stamp Camp, I did. I have one more card kit because I had to make two more. One card kit for Stamp Camp. You buy the bundle, the paper. It's $78. I don't even have the information. Here I do. Look at this from a month ago. You buy the Nature Sweetness bundle. It's $46.75. You buy the gold faux leather trim. It's $9. The adhesive back cork rounds and the Nature Sweetness DSP. The total is $78.75. You buy that from me using my host code. Then you get the Stamp Camp this weekend. It goes Friday night to Saturday evening. It's 24 hours. And there's a demonstration every 2 hours for the whole, there's 13 demonstrations. And then you also get a tutorial bundle that we sell. We don't sell the Stamp Camp one, but on the non-Stamp Camp months, we sell that for $15. And you get the card kits in the mail and the postage, and everything's free except for buying the Stamp Camp. And I'm excited. I'll see some of you this weekend. Okay, and Jean likes the wobbles too.
I got a lot of people that like the wobbles.
I'm glad I put the wobbles back on.
Yeah.
You guys have been patient tonight with all our stories, and
so what do you say? Let's give away a card.
Let's do this. You guys, thank you for joining us on Tuesday. We just love hanging out with you. Please subscribe to our channel if you haven't. You'll be notified when we're live every week. And
Here we go, Beth.
and what else? If you'd like it or give us a heart, we appreciate that.
The winner is
And you can only win once a month.
Becky.
Becky White, congratulations. Just go ahead and email me, beth@stampingmom.com, and give me your mailing address and let me know if you want the dimensional cows or the wobble cows. I guess they are pretty cute. Can you see them? So to give you perspective, they are up pretty high.
But you said they're
but
going to
it's fun.
squash down.
They are. They're going to squash down in the mail. But they might pop up pretty high. We'll have to see. You guys are awesome. Please come back next week. We'll have something fun for you. And if you're going to be in Houston, let me know. I would love to meet you in Houston.
I'm going to be in Houston.
Steve is coming to Houston. He's wearing his Joy Club swag. He is going to be in Houston, and he's
I'm
gonna
bringing
have,
my cowboy hat.
He's your cowboy hat, and he's going to have fudge.
Yep.
So please let us know if you're going to be there so we can save some for you. Have a great week, everyone. Bye-bye.